Hi, how's everybody doing today? I am your host, Rich, here on behalf of Rich TV Live with our very special guest, Andre Tessier, the CEO of Delta Resources, with some big breaking news today. How you doing today, Andre?
I'm doing great, Rich. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Very excited to have you on the show again and break the big news. And Delta Resources, we talked about it, is going to have a lot of news about drilling. So I'll let you speak on the news today. Pretty exciting.
It is really exciting news, actually. We've been talking a lot about our Delta 2 property in Chibougamau, Quebec, and it's a great property that most people consider to be our flagship. That said, we also have our property in the Thunder Bay area that looks fantastic, and the news this morning is about Thunder Bay. So what we're basically what we're explaining in our press release is, we've got a terrific new target that's never been tested on the property. We're looking at about a 1 kilometer strike extent of the Shebandowan structure that we believe may be the source of gold at the property, and it's never been tested. It's never been looked at. So this target is basically the culmination of our drilling from 2019, our till sampling from last summer, and our field work during October of this year. So if we go back to our drilling of 2019, we drilled 6 holes on the Eureka prospect. It was a brand new gold prospect that had never been drill tested. And we intersected very, very broad zones of 0.2 grams per ton gold, which is highly anomalous. And within those zones, we were intersecting 2 very near surface zones. One was 0.64 over 27.5 meters, and the other one was 0.73 gold over 22 meters. Now, what intrigued us is that this was over a strike extent of 200 meters. Our drill holes, we did some fences of drill holes, so we had a good exposure on the width of the potential mineralized zone, and we found that basically all the rocks that we were intersecting in our drill holes had that gold mineralized halo, and were extremely, extremely altered. So we were pretty excited about that. You don't usually get those wide zones of anomalous gold. So we continued with our till survey during the summer. And I should say, pull back there. Our gold, our drilling was suggesting that the bulk of, or the center of mineralization should be towards the north, and we thought the northwest. So we did our till survey, and lo and behold, we defined a really nice gold dispersion trail, at the top of which we had one sample that had 457 gold grains in a 10 kilogram samples. And those gold grains were 95% pristine.
Wow.
So when we talk about till, about 10,000 years ago, glaciers were covering the northern part of Canada, most of Canada, and were dragging as they flowed generally towards the south. They were dragging pieces of rock that they were scraping from the bedrock. So the longer these grains are carried, of course, they become nice, rounded, and abraded. So when we say that they're pristine, it means they were not abraded. They're really very fragile textures. And gold is a very malleable mineral. So when you carry that for any extended distance with at the base of a glacier, it gets really rounded. So with the number of grain, which is highly anomalous, with the morphology of the grain, which is pristine, we know that we're very close to a source of gold, a bedrock source of gold. So finally, we thought, well, let's go take a peek at this in the field. And what we found is that we started sampling the portion north of our drilling, and we found we collected a number of grab samples, and these samples returned anywhere between zero 0.2 and 3.6 grams per ton gold. So again, it extended that mineralized halo towards the north. And then all of a sudden you get into a topographic depression, so there's no more outcrops. And when you get on the other side of the Trans-Canada Highway, you start seeing these rocks that are a bit younger and not nearly as mineralized or altered. So we know the Shebandowan structure is pretty much right underneath the Trans-Canada Highway at the property. And that mineralized halo extends for about 1 kilometer of strike length so far. Towards the east and the west, it's open because we just defined it, there's no more outcrops. And towards the south, towards the north, really it stops right at that Shebandowan structure. So we believe that one or the other, either the Shebandowan structure is the source of the gold that's been bleeding out into the undeformed rocks to the south, or if there was a large halo of mineralization there, that structure could potentially have concentrated gold into it. And that's what we plan on drill testing sometime during the winter.
Wow, that's a huge discovery. Congratulations.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's like in terms of a gold target, I you don't see those that often. This is a real terrific gold target that we're going to test this February.
Now, for an investor that's maybe not as technical, that likes gold and is maybe invested in Delta Resources or thinking about investing in Delta Resources, and for those of you guys that are watching, Delta Resources in Canada, the symbol is DLTA. In America, the symbol is GOLHF. And in Frankfurt, Germany, the symbol is 6G01. What does that mean for the company? Like, how long potentially would it take for you to go from drilling where you're at to actually pulling the gold out of the ground? Is there a timeline for that?
The gold starting a gold mine takes a long time. There's the permitting that's important. There's the defining the ore body that's important as well. And we're just starting at this point. So once we start drilling, we'll have a pretty good idea of what we've got on our hands. Now should we start hitting some good grades over good widths, then we're going to be starting to drill on a long-term basis. And once you've defined your ore body, then you move on to the permitting, and then you move on to the potentially the feasibility study or pre-feasibility studies. So it's a few years before production, definitely. But that said, I'm sure you're aware when a junior company like ours at a really low market cap starts intersecting these nice wide intercepts of gold or other mineralization, that's when the biggest jump for the shareholder is. The portion of defining an ore body, it becomes almost a bit oh hum for investors. So you plateau. Your stock price usually plateaus a bit after that, and then once you get these good feasibilities, then you start moving again. But to really get onto the upswing, this is the time.
Now, you mentioned that the gold grains with a 78% to 99% pristine. Can you explain what that means, or what maybe the average pristine level is, so people can understand the high quality of this gold?
Yeah, well, there's no real average. In terms of average, it's more the number of gold grains that you usually get in a sample, and when you get anywhere above 40 grains per sample, it's anomalous. So 457 grains is highly anomalous. Now, the pristine nature of the grains tells you how far you are from your source. So the pilot survey that we did collected some samples, for example, just south of a known occurrence in the west part of our property. And 35 meters, below down ice from that surface occurrence, we encountered 223 gold grains, of which 99% were pristine. So pristine is the nature, is how intact are the gold grains. Gold is very malleable, very fragile. So when glaciers start carrying them for a long distance, they become very rounded and very abraded. And that tells you that you're probably very far from source. And typically when that happens, you don't have a whole lot of grains of gold in your sample. In our case, when you get anywhere between and 78 to 95, you're talking about the dispersion trail as a whole. The sample itself that had 457 grains, I believe, was at 95% pristine. What that means is that the grains are very fragile. They haven't traveled much. You're very close to a bedrock source. And that's what we're going to be investigating. In terms of the rest of the dispersion trail there, that dispersion trail, I believe, was about 700 meters in width, but had 8 samples that carried anywhere between 40 grains of gold to 117 grains of gold, I believe. So all of those samples were highly anomalous.
Wow, this is pretty exciting for Delta Resources. Obviously, as investors, we're looking for targets that are going to show us future growth. And clearly, when you have these types of targets that you're meeting, this is a huge bull indicator that you guys are on to something huge. What does this mean for Delta Resources today with this news?
Well, gold, any mineral exploration company is highly speculative, right? But what this means for us or for our investors, for us, it's just a really, really exciting target to drill, and we're planning on doing that, in hopefully in February when a drill becomes available in the area. We've applied to the Ministry of Transportation of Ontario for a drilling permit in this case, because we need to drill pretty much right next to the Trans-Canada Highway. So we'll call it our Trans-Canada target. And once that's done, we'll get in the field and start drilling. So for Delta, it's just a really, really exciting target. As a geologist, it's a very exciting target to test. For our investors, again, what this means is that any indication that the Shebandowan structure is mineralized is very exciting, because we know it's a wide structure. We know there's a lot of gold in the system, and potentially, that could mean a huge jump for our stock price.
Wow, that's exciting, guys. If you guys are invested in Delta Resources, or you're thinking about investing in Delta Resources, we are anticipating that this could be a huge catalyst for the company. And this news is just breaking right now. It's literally just breaking. It's starting to circulate. In your press release, you also have a detailed photo of the property, the compilation map, the Eureka area, and you break it down with lots of different detail. As a geologist and the CEO of this company, how exciting is this? Is this kind of like, does this make you almost feel like a kid in a candy store? Because I know, like, as an influencer, when you have big news, you get excited, right? Well, as a geologist and as a CEO of a company that's, you start identifying properties, as a geologist, your job is to find gold. And 43101 is like, it's like the holy grail of, hey, now we can drill. We've got, proof and evidence that this is an area that has gold. And now you actually are finding it. Is this now kind of, is this kind of like is this like that catalyst that's kind of like, you know, we finally have made it? You know, we worked this hard, but we finally made it. Obviously, you haven't achieved all your objectives, but you now know you're onto something really, really big. Is this kind of like the start of that?
Well, as a geologist, you know, it's a bit of an investigation, right? So and very, you know, typically, and in this case as well, you only get a few outcrops to work with. So you only get a portion of the puzzle. So in this case, you know, we started with drilling last year, and then, you know, we were encouraged by this, and then, you know, we did the till survey, and we were very encouraged by this, and then we went in the field to verify, you know, this till survey, and to verify, you know, north of that drilling that we did, and so it's a real convergence of evidence that, you know, and so when you get all these pieces of the puzzle that tells you, you know what, like it's in that direction. That's when you, as a geologist, you get really, really excited. And you know, in terms of a gold target, you know, I've seen some good ones. This is a notch above the rest. This is a really, really nice gold target that we're going to be testing soon. So when the drill starts drilling, that's when, yeah, you get the butterflies, and you know, you get really excited. And of course, you know, there's always some technical successes that don't lead to mines, but in this particular case, this, you know, the gold is in the system. We know the structure's there, so we're, you know, really, really hopeful that you know, this will bear fruit.
It's kind of reminds me of like the days of like the pirates, and they're hunting for treasure, and you guys are literally hunting for treasure, and you guys found gold, and it's like, okay, we found gold, dig here. And like literally you pull it out of the ground and it's worth X amount of dollars. And, you know, we've seen since the last time you were on, gold was under 1800. Now it's back over 1800, starting to move back up like we talked about. And, you know, I made a prediction that I think gold goes back to 2000 plus in 2021. I truly believe that. We're starting to see gold starting to climb back up over 1800 again. And that's extremely bullish. Congratulations on this news and this finding. For an investor that's watching, any advice or any information you want to give to an investor that's watching that could be thinking about buying in Germany, Canada, or the United States market today?
You know what? Just take a peek at the website. Take a peek at our you know, corporate presentation. If you have any questions, contact us. Just keep an eye out for our press releases. We'll let you know when we start drilling at Delta 1 in Thunder Bay, Ontario. We are currently drilling in Chibougamau on our Delta 2 property. We are just at the tail end of testing our gold targets there, and we're going to be moving on to our volcanogenic massive sulfide targets there. So there's a lot of news flow in the pipes, and we're just ready to go.
I'm so excited. When we first started looking into Delta Resources, I believe the stock was around 30 cents. We've seen it go as high as 50 cents. We saw it go back down to around 30, 31 cents. And we were telling our community, load up. You're getting in at, you know, the same price or lower than some huge government bodies. And a lot of our members did at those levels. And we saw it go back to around 45 yesterday. And we're starting to see it consistently trade around, you know, 43 to 45 right now. And this news is just getting out. So congratulations, Andre, on all of your success thus far. I know this is just the beginning of something greater. And for those of you that are watching, if you guys have any questions, if you'd like to get in contact with Andre, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Well, you know, again, at the base of our press releases, we all have the coordinates where you can reach either myself or Frank Candido, our VP of Corporate Communications, and on our website at deltaresources.ca. Before we sign off, though, I really need to acknowledge as well our technical team led by our VP of Exploration, Michel Chapdelaine, who's contributing enormously to all of this field work and all of this targeting.
So how busy is it getting for you? Is your phone starting to ring off the hook right now with all of these findings? I'm assuming you're getting lots of calls.
Most people communicate by email, but I welcome phone calls anytime. But yeah, we are starting to gather a lot of interest, and again, our neighbors in Chibougamau are providing some of that excitement in the region as well, with our neighbors to the left, to the west. Intersecting 13 grams over 11 meters, and our neighbors to the north, drilling these terrific targets below the Lemoine mine. So all of this is contributing to the excitement.
Wow, I'm super, super excited to see how this all plays out. Congratulations on all of your success. Congratulations on the findings. For those of you guys that are watching, one of the most undervalued, underappreciated, underexposed junior miners I've seen. Baby market cap, great share structure, money in the bank, no debt. This is a company that I believe we will see in the future at $1 plus. Congratulations on all your success, Andre Tessier. Now remember, guys, Rich TV Live is strictly for education and entertainment purposes. Always do your due diligence, always do your research, and consult a financial advisor before you invest in anything that we discuss on our show. And always invest in the best. The best is blessed. Andre Tessier, the CEO of Delta Resources. Huge news, breaking news. Do your research, everybody. Do your due diligence. I think it's a big winner. Andre, have a great day. Keep up the great work. And anytime you have any breaking news, love to have you back on the show.
Sounds good. Thanks very much, Rich.
Have yourself a great day. Congratulations, everybody, on Delta Resources. And I believe the story and the news about this company is just getting started. Have yourselves a great day, and we'll talk to you guys soon.